Meet Dbongz Mahlathi, a remarkable street artist known as the master of spray paint and acrylic. His studio is the streets of Johannesburg.
So my work is basically graffiti street art. So it's basically something between not just writing a name, but it's basically the core of it is basically using spray paint. So what I do, I tell my stories through it. Like I say graffiti because that's where my roots are. I started writing my name, but then I saw that it just was not enough. You know, I just had to do something more. I just had to tell my story. I just had to let people in on what it is that I do besides just writing a name. So I started doing portraits.
The artist has been at it for a number of years now. Dbongz started participating in street art in 2008 when he came to the city to pursue his tertiary education, and then he fell in love with the kind of freedom that it afforded him. The autonomy it gave him through the ability to splash colors and the lure of the huge canvases in a form of walls. As a young man with a township base, Dbongz is always keen to narrate stories from there.
And the stories that I want to tell is like, we know what we go through in the township. We know the things that are happening but are not being told. But with me, I'm like, I'll tell the story, but not just stick to telling the story, but tell this is the problem and this is the solution, because I've gone through it. I've gone through the depression. I've gone through not believing in myself. I've gone through people laughing at me for wanting to be an artist and saying, oh, really? Is that what you want to do?
He persevered. As a result, his hard work keeps paying off. One of the highlights of the fruits of his work was when he was chosen by international actress Charlize Theron as one of 2 street artists to represent South Africa and tell their story through their artwork.
I was really excited about it, and not having been out of South Africa before, and the first city being New York, which is like, in my mind, the biggest city in the world. It was, yeah, I can't explain it in words. Like, even people now, they say, explain the trip, and I can't explain the trip in words because, yeah, it had me going. And even now, it's very mind-blowing. Just being in the same room with Charlize Theron, Drew Barrymore, Boyz II Men, it was, like, the energy is so amazing.
He now wants to make it easier for those who want to follow the same path.
Yeah, I think it's just that I didn't believe in myself because I never had like a support structure of people who understand and who understood what it is that I was doing. Because where you're from, it's like you have to be a nurse, you have to be a doctor, something we've seen before, something that it's seen as like a traditional career.
The young artist wants his work to reach the rest of the continent and the world. Yolisa Njamela for CGTN in Johannesburg, South Africa.